What a great pay-per-view overall. I'm John Renton with the retro review of WWE Royal Rumble 2005. This is a viewer request, so I hope you enjoy it, but honestly, this is one of my favorite Rumbles of all time. And I mean Rumble events, not just my favorite Royal Rumble, but one of my favorites from the opening match to the closing Rumble match, the Rumble match that always closed the show, even with the few things that were either uncomfortable or weird or not very good. The flow of the show was fucking tremendous. The interwoven feuds, heading into the Rumble, and Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle kicking off their feud there, fucking tremendous. WrestleMania 21, one of my favorite matches in WWE history. It was fucking tremendous. They tore the goddamn house down. Hell of a goddamn feud in 2005. They just really knew how to bring the best out of each other. But overall, this is a really great goddamn event. But you have to start at the beginning. Very good place to start. Fresno, California. 12,000 fans that were so goddamn hot, whether they loved something or hated something, they were on fire. And this was certainly a better effort in Fresno than the 1996 edition. Even though I did praise that. You can check out that retro review if you want. I love that one. But I fully recognize that it wasn't the greatest. They had to bring in some people where you're like, well, why the fuck are they there? In this one, pretty much everybody, it made sense why they were in the Rumble, and everybody got a chance to, really shine. A few entrants lasted a really long time. Cole and Taz called the SmackDown action. JR and Lawler called the Raw action. Dark match was Maven versus Rhino. So Maven, after being in the 02 and 03 Rumbles, he was just kind of relegated to doing dark matches, heat matches at this point. And I think would be gone from the company by the following year. I know he teamed with Simon Dean for a bit. It really didn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, I don't know what the fuck Maven's doing. But I don't think he did anything with wrestling after he left WWE. Shame, because they seem to have something with him. But him and Nydia, really sad how they kind of flopped. I mean, overall, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not saying the effort wasn't there. And I think Nydia deserved a whole lot more than she got. But yeah, it's just a bit weird. We get Edge versus Shawn Michaels, a great way to open the show. Edge had been wanting to get revenge on Shawn Michaels for taking his spot. Hell, he had even beaten him up, during the Taboo Tuesday event before Shawn Michaels took on Triple H. And Shawn Michaels had a legit knee injury, and Edge knew that, and Edge was like, well, why didn't I get picked? So he decided to take out Shawn Michaels during that. Shawn had his knee taken care of, and then was a referee in the New Year's Revolution Elimination Chamber match. And that kind of kicked off more of the feud, and then they just had this match, which was a really good goddamn opener. I mean, honestly, as far as opening matches, and I'm not talking pre-show matches, even though the pre-show matches have been fine since the network era has come along. As far as opening matches at the Rumble, this may be one of the best opening matches in Rumble history. In fact, I may even do a ranking video about that. Should I do a ranking video of every Royal Rumble opening match? Maybe I already did. I don't fucking remember. But if I didn't, maybe I'll do it again. And maybe I'll just redo it. Why the fuck not? It's always fun to kind of go back and revisit this stuff. The whole point of this match is, though, fucking tremendous. Great action. Heel Edge is exactly what we goddamn needed. And just great shit. Shawn Michaels being the veteran. Even though Edge had wrestled for a number of years, Shawn obviously had wrestled longer. And he was, doing what he could to get, beat Edge down. Edge was being the cocky heel, working on his knee and stuff like that. Eventually, the most devastating maneuver in all of professional wrestling, surprise roll-up. 1, 2, 3, while Edge was holding the ropes. So he outsmarts Shawn Michaels and gets a victory, feeling like he got his revenge. And now he goes on to the Rumble match, where Shawn will also be included. Then we get Bischoff and Teddy talking about their various rosters being in the Rumble match, while Christy Hemme and Tori Wilson play around with balls. The little rolly thing that, the balls were in. Christy Hemme really deserves a whole lot better than she got in WWE. Not even 3 months later, they would have WrestleMania 21. And they would have Christy Hemme step in instead of Lita, because Lita had a severe knee injury that she needed to work on. And Christy Hemme faced Trish. It didn't fucking work at all. It was really fucking bad. And that's not Hemme's fault. That's not Trish's fault. Hemme wasn't ready, and the crowd ate her alive. It was an unwinnable situation. It was really fucking bad. Tori Wilson, the sad thing is, after the Al Wilson, Dawn Marie bullshit, Tori was pretty much just used as somebody that people would sleep with. That's really the only thing she ever fucking did in WWE. And I'm not saying that's all she was good for. That seemed to be all they thought she was good for. But she got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Sure. Whatever. Cyndi Lauper in the goddamn Hall of Fame. Miss Elizabeth ain't in the goddamn Hall of Fame. Molly Holly ain't in the Hall of Fame. A bunch of others ain't in the goddamn Hall of Fame, but Tori Wilson is. That ain't Tori's fault. I just wonder what the fuck's going on. Anyway, enough of that. Eddie and Ric Flair get their numbers. Eddie isn't happy with his. Rick is thrilled with his. And what happens is basically they switch. Eddie was number 1 and Rick was number 30, by the way, just in case anybody's wondering. So Eddie switches the numbers while, congratulating Rick and everything. And then Rick's all upset about his number because he's like, wait a second, that wasn't the number I had. So he goes to get Eddie. Then we have Heidenreich all sweaty and panting and breathing hard in a goddamn room. And yeah, that was uncomfortable enough. He hates caskets. He's facing The Undertaker in a casket match. And then Snitsky shows up. Snitsky's been feuding with Kane. And, so Heidenreich feuding with The Undertaker. So naturally they have a bit of synergy here. Did they ever actually team up? Because I know they were on different brands. I don't believe they did. But yeah, Heidenreich is just breathing really hard. Snitsky's breathing really hard. He's like, well, I got a plan or whatever. But he says, well, I know you don't like caskets. He says to Heidenreich, but I like you. He's like, I like you too, Gene. And they're just breathing really hard. I got a plan. Okay. And it's just so uncomfortable. So unbelievably uncomfortable that they were breathing so goddamn hard and sweating. And what were they doing? And I don't want to think about it. This was almost as bad as Heidenreich, giving Michael Cole his own version of a poetry slam, if you know what I mean. And then God damn it was so fucking bad. Heidenreich versus Undertaker casket match. Heidenreich was afraid of caskets, and they tried. This was sadly the best match that they had of anything in their feud, but Heidenreich just wasn't good. It's also weird that a guy named Heidenreich was at one point managed by Paul Heyman. I'm going to let you figure out why that was very uncomfortable, especially what they originally wanted to do with Heidenreich. And even Vince McMahon said to this writer, what the fuck is wrong with you? So, yeah, it wasn't good, even though Undertaker tried. Undertaker can only get so much out of somebody when they're not very good. And Heidenreich, I just don't understand what the fuck they did with. I don't fucking understand it. I don't understand why they made him a member of LOD, an honorary member. It was really not a good idea. Snitsky interferes. They're chanting, we won Kane. Casket gets open. Here's Kane. Hi. And then Kane attacks Snitsky, takes him out. Kane with the shocker. The big red machine giving a big old shocker, splattering everything all over everybody's faces. If I have to think about the stuff this way, then so do all of you people. And then we get a leg drop on the casket. Ouch. Heidenreich probably should have been, knocked out at that point at least. But we get a tombstone, and then Heidenreich's put in the casket, and this feud is thankfully over. And then Undertaker feuded with Randy Orton, which was a much better feud. Even at its worst, was a much better feud. Teddy then says to Eddie, hey, give me the number. And he finally does. And then, because Rick wants his number, and Batista and Triple H are there, and Teddy's like, give me the number, give me the number, give me the number, Eddie, come on. And then Eddie says, okay. And then he says, okay, Eddie, seriously, give it. He gives the number, and then he gives Teddy Rick's wallet, because he also stole his wallet. Because stereotypes, am I right, lads? Anyway, so that was funny. Rick got all upset, and Batista and Triple H start to get in a little bit of tension. I will say this, as much as I'm not a fan of Triple H, the way they built the Batista-Triple H feud was fucking beautiful. Goddamn great. Batista's like, I'll go get my number and come right back. Triple H is like, no, we need to discuss this. He's like, I'll go get my number. And they start to get, the tension. They start to do the thing. And it was really good, especially once Batista won the Rumble. And then Flair has to, stop it. And then Christian gets his number. Cena shows up. Christian tries to freestyle. Doesn't work. Cena basically implies that Christian and Tomko were bedfellows. Gay jokes, am I right? And that was pretty much it right there. Well, Christy looked like she, I guess, was happy to be there. And Tori looked like she wanted to literally be anywhere else. Probably an anti-mask rally. Even though those didn't exist in 2005. Big Show versus Kurt Angle versus JBL, three-way WWE Championship match. JBL had been champion since July? No, June? I think it was like late June of 2004. Yeah, then he faced Eddie in a cage match July 15th of 2004. And Kurt Angle was revealed as not being injured, because we all knew that Kurt Angle wasn't injured at one point anyway. So JBL had been champion for about, at this point, 7 months. And I may actually do a retro review looking at JBL's WWE Championship reign, because there actually were some good parts to it. As much as I don't like JBL, the piece of shit that he is, I may have to swallow my pride like I did with the Lex Luger U.S. title video that I did and talk about, the good points there. Big Show had Teddy Long put JBL and Kurt Angle in a last man standing match a few days prior, so Big Show was coming in fresh, and he had a reason to go after JBL, but also a reason to go after Kurt Angle, after Kurt Angle had shaved his head, along with Jindrak and Luther Reigns. The first time they tried to push a man named Reigns, it didn't fucking work at all. And, Big Show got his head shaved. He got his revenge on Kurt Angle, but he still wanted to get the WWE Championship, as anybody would, and this match was actually pretty good overall. It did get a little bit dodgy once they got to the spear spot, but before that, Show was dominant until being put through the announcer's table. He gets back in after a bit. Angle, and when Big Show wasn't involved, JBL and Angle could only do so much because Angle could only carry somebody so long. And then spear through the barricade. His cabinet comes to check on the Bashams. The sad thing is, this is the best use of the Bashams in WWE. Not with Linda Miles. That was fucking uncomfortable because Linda Miles was a goddamn idiot and never belonged in wrestling. But Orlando Jordan was also out there. They check on JBL. Jindrak and Luther Reigns attack Big Show. He's taking them to the entranceway. And then they shove JBL in there because they were about to put him on a stretcher. Orlando Jordan shoves him in there. Kurt Angle's been kind of knocked out. Gets hit with the clothesline from hell. 1, 2, 3. He retains the WWE Championship. Carlito, who had an arm injury, or a shoulder injury, I think, something like that, he lost the U.S. Championship and, paid a guy to stab John Cena before a pay-per-view match. The son of Carlos Colon paid somebody to stab somebody, and another wrestler. I don't even think I need to go over, how tasteless that fucking was. That was so fucking bad. By the way, check out my Wrestling's Most Tasteless series and Times in Wrestling to Piss Me Off videos if you really want to listen to some rants. They were from a while ago, but they were a lot of fun. Yeah, Carlito tries to get Batista to sign a petition to get Teddy Long removed as SmackDown GM. And he has the apple because he spits in the face of people who don't want to be cool. And Batista says, "You see what I did with that flagpole on Raw? Imagine what I could do with that petition." And he just he scared Carlito from giving it to him in the face. I mean, come on. If you could scare somebody from, giving it to you in the face, good on you, I guess. Not here to kink shame. Easier to keep your face clean. Moving on, Bischoff says Evolution is barred from ringside. Because he's like, well, Teddy, you had too much interference, so I'm going to have nobody involved in this match, which meant the match was canceled. No, he had Orton versus Triple H in a world title match where, man, they were trying to push babyface Orton, and the fans said, fuck you, we don't buy it because we like Orton as a heel. I was at the Raw right after Unforgiven 2004, where Orton at least was still kind of over. And I also got to see Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho tag team, and that was pretty goddamn cool. And we got to see Snitsky's debut. We got to chant Baby Killer at Snitsky. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, Orton wanted revenge, and it was fine for a bit, and then went on forever. This was like a 22-minute match, and it should have been 12. Orton got massive boos once he started making his comeback. We get a ref bump, sledgehammer in eventually, and then Orton kind of, suffered a concussion after, falling down from a DDT. Basically, Triple H held on, and Orton just hit the back of his head on the ring. And he's all wobbly, and this took way longer than it should have. Triple H hits the pedigree eventually, 1, 2, 3. And then Nunzio's happy to be in the Rumble, and then Angle catches Nunzio's ball, fondles it, and basically says, I have your ball, got your ball, got your ball, got your ball. No, and then he scares him. And basically Nunzio's like, maybe I don't want to try a challenge an Olympic gold medalist who won it, by the way, with a broken freaking neck. And he leaves. And then we get Teddy Long and Bischoff talking about JBL's cabinet. Or talking about, the Rumble, by the way, while JBL and his cabinet come in. And JBL gets wet from his own cabinet. Amy Weber. Read the horror stories about what she had to go through. That's pretty goddamn bad. And Teddy says, hey, JBL, after being cut off multiple times, says, you're going to face Big Show at No Way Out in a barbed wire steel cage match. Good. It wasn't a good match. The No Way Out 2005 was really bad. Taz and JR call the Rumble. Rumble match, 90-second intervals. Eddie and Benoit start off at 1 and 2. Benoit lasting 47 minutes. Benoit 2 in a row, and this wasn't even June 2007. Then Daniel Puder comes in at number 3, and oh boy. he got a lot of heat and got the shit beat out of him. I mean, a lot. He got fucking brutalized. Sign guy as well. Throw Pewter here. He had some other good signs. Hardcore Holly number 4. He hates rookies, and he took it out on Daniel Pewter. Pewter got eventually tossed. Hurricane number 5. Kenzo Suzuki at number 6. Remember Kenzo Suzuki? Remember his incredibly hot wife? You know, who was more over than he was? that character didn't work. Suzuki, I mean. Minoru Suzuki worked. Kenzo Suzuki, less so. At least in WWE. Edge at number 7, he lasted 40 minutes. Ray lasted 38 minutes after entering number 8. Shelton at 9. And, you know, basically everybody just keeps gaining there. Everybody get in here. Yeah, Booker comes in number 10, Tangles with Edge. They are fighting over shampoo. I wanted to make my own sign, just do that. But remember that? Mania 18? They're fighting over a fake Japanese shampoo commercial. And yeah, Jericho at number 11, 28 minutes. Luther Reigns at number 12. Luther had a good look, and one hardly needs to go on about anything about Luther Reigns at that point. It wasn't that he was bad. It just didn't work. And then Muhammad Hassan comes in at number 13. Hassan Chop. And if you get that, I fucking love you guys. And if you don't, brush up on your Looney Tunes. Anyway, he gets eliminated in a minute, just gets ganged up on and tossed out. They turbanned him from ringside. And then Orlando Jordan at number 14. Scotty Too Hotty gets taken out by Hassan. Then Haas at number 16. Rene Dupree at number 17. Fifi, the French poodle, who looked fucking terrified to be there. I'm not a fan of putting animals in, at ringside. At least to that extent. That poodle looked terrified. Of course, Dupree having his French tickler out. Simon Dean, number 18. JR's immediate disdain for Simon Dean was fucking hilarious. He said, he's like, oh, good Lord. Like, you know, he's like warming up and everything. And saying, you had all day to warm up. Get in the ring, you idiot. He's just angry, JR. He just immediately, like, pounces on him. Worse than he did Chuck Palumbo in the 2002 Rumble. And he says, I hope somebody eliminates Simon Dean immediately. Like, right now, hell, Jack Duncan will do it for all I care. The best, I think, angry JR, though, was Mania 6. Where it was Vince McMahon against Shawn Michaels. Yeah, hit him in the head with it and then shove it up his ass. You know, I miss when JR was good as opposed to just being whatever the fuck he is now in AEW. But anyway, Edge eliminates Eddie, does the dance. Eddie gets a big chant. Shawn Michaels, number 19, eliminates Simon. He's like, good night, sweet prince. Angle at number 20. Angle is suplexing the world, a line from JR, and this is great shit. He gets tossed out, or he gets super kicked out by Shawn Michaels, and then later returns. Coach at number 21. The fact that Jonathan Coachman was ever allowed in a wrestling ring in any capacity is fucking embarrassing. I don't care how good of a personality he may have been backstage or on commentary. He never fucking belonged in the ring. At all. It was fucking embarrassing to watch him there. And I would not cross Benoit with a chainsaw. Might have helped later. And then Angle drops Shawn out, hits him with the steps, and fists him so goddamn hard that he busts him open. Let me tell you right now, when you fist somebody so hard that you cause bleeding, you might need to take it easy. And then he does the ankle lock on the steps, because all submissions hurt more when you do them on the announcer's table or on the steel steps. That's just how these things work, apparently, in wrestling. And then Jindrak at 22, Viscera at 23. Viscera had the weirdest return in 2004. Paul London at number 24. Cena at 25. He tosses out Viscera. Snitsky at 26. He eliminates London. London practically doing his own version of either a 450 or a shooting star press to the floor. A floor 50, if you will. And then Kane at number 27. Him and Batista tangle after Batista gets in at number 28. Fun fact, Batista won both Rumbles, in 2005 and 2014 at number 28. By 2014, it was so he wouldn't get winded because he'd been gone for a bit. And then we get down to Christian at 29, Flair at number 30. Flair's gone soon. And it's down to Cena and Batista. And they do the perfect, over the ropes to, be eliminated. It's like, holy shit, they planned this. They didn't plan it. And it was so fucking perfect. And then Vince McMahon is all pissed off because the officials are not figuring this out. He hadn't warmed up. He was upset because the pay-per-view was running long. He runs down to the ring and he pulls a double Nash and is just sitting there in the ring. And I didn't realize how bad it was, but apparently Vince McMahon was in a lot of pain and needed surgery. which, I mean, you tear your quad, you're going to need surgery. They restart the match. Batista, ends up eliminating Cena, and there you go. That's it right there. But one of my favorite Rumbles. It was a lot of fun to talk about. Let me know what you guys think of this Rumble in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.